Hello and welcome to this update. Today is Thursday, November 14th, 2024. This is going to be really short and to the point because I'm actually working on some other stuff. But I noticed today that Bitfarms and also Stronghold Digital Mining, right, are down upwards of 20+% year to date. Now, by contrast, of course, Bitcoin is up quite a bit, and there are a number of other publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies that have done substantially better than Bitfarms and Stronghold, right, insofar as their stock price performance. But a question that I think we need to contemplate is whether or not we truly believe that we are on the cusp of what could potentially be a meaningful bull run in the price of Bitcoin and perhaps even a bull run in hash prices. Because remember, as we've said, numerous times before, price of Bitcoin could go to $1 million a coin, but if the network hash rate just kind of like zooms ahead and it devours any potential for profitability, or it keeps profitability really, kind of like slender in terms of the margins, it's not going to necessarily do a whole lot for a publicly traded Bitcoin mining company who ostensibly their purpose for existing is to validate transactions on the Bitcoin network, and in so doing earn, right, fees and block rewards for doing so. But the challenge, of course, is that if hash prices aren't really meaningful, I don't know what kind of substantive revenue and profitability we're going to see. Now, a question may arise, hey, but what if there's a hodl, right? What if I'm a publicly traded Bitcoin mining company and I've got a hodl of, be it 1,000 Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoin, 25,000 Bitcoin, or beyond? Well, yeah, that does translate into earnings pursuant to some accounting gimmickry, right? Whereby I can say, hey, the price of Bitcoin's up a lot. I can count that as earnings. Of course, on the reverse side, if Bitcoin goes down in any particular quarter, then that's going to be a loss. I think an interesting question that I need to dig into a little bit more is what happens if you have this Bitcoin related gain, right? These earnings that are based on the price of Bitcoin having gone up. Presumably you owe taxes on that, but if your actual operations, right, insofar as like the stuff that's bringing in cash flow really isn't there, does it mean you need to sell some of your Bitcoin to pay your taxes and thereby continue forward? This is something I need to explore in a bit more depth. So I don't want to necessarily comment any further on that, but I've been really giving this some thought because you are going to have some publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies that, by virtue of the fact that they have so much Bitcoin on their balance sheet, they have the potential to show some phenomenal earnings, right? One potential workaround for some of these companies is the fact that they've got so much accumulated losses that it may not actually result in any sort of taxable event simply because they're whittling down against that massive pile of losses, which, they're able to do, again, pursuant to a variety of accounting gimmickry, for lack of a more sophisticated way of describing it. But we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into that because I think it does merit a deeper dive. But Bitfarms is trading at around, $2.15 a share today. Stock's down. I mean, a lot of the, Bitcoin, miners were down today, ostensibly because the U.S. Federal Reserve, the chairman of this reserve, so to speak, has indicated that they are perhaps not in a rush to cut rates. The funny thing is, I saw the price of Bitcoin at around $88,000 or so per coin, which is still a very substantial gain since about, a week ago or so. So, we know that there's a lot of volatility baked into these, publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies. But as I said yesterday, I think there are going to potentially be some opportunities, some entry points, to the extent you really believe, hey, we are on the cusp of a major bull run that's not going to stop at 88,000, but it's going to maybe go to like 110,000, 130,000, 140,000, maybe upwards of $200,000 per coin by sometime next year. Of course, the big question then becomes, hey, do hash prices go along for the ride? Or are we simply stuck with any sort of momentum that Bitcoin just kind of brings to the publicly traded Bitcoin mining ecosystem and pull some of those stock prices along, even if actual operational revenue and earnings simply aren't there, because perhaps the network hash rate has really escalated tremendously in the meantime, thereby whittling away at the opportunity to actually, make bank, so to speak. So a deeper dive is required, but as I said yesterday, I'll repeat it again today. I think patience is probably the name of the game, and really to just kind of see what's going to go on in the next couple of weeks here. There's going to be, I suspect, a lot of volatility in the markets that have, has nothing to do with the price of Bitcoin or hash prices, but just volatility generally that I think could push shares of Bitfarms, for example, down potentially below $2 again, at which point I think we really need to take a serious look at considering that a potential entry point. Again, as I've said now like 2-3 times, if you assume that there is going to be a major bull run in the price of Bitcoin beyond what we've already seen. Okay, my friend, let's stay positive, let's be great, and we'll see each other again tomorrow.